sure how clear it is, but this is a road that they supposedly patched, right? I just want you to look. Wait, I put my seatbelt on. Let's make it an annoying sound. So they just patched this road, guys, for Bolt's dad's funeral, and it's already falling apart. Alright, so this is kind of stuff I'm talking about, where they don't respect the people who live in the area, but if cameras are coming in, right, you know, they do it for the dignitary. So they didn't patch this because of Usain Bolt. They just patched it because of the attention that the road got during that time, because it was really bad, right? Still some potholes because they just patched like the most terrible areas, and they didn't really patch it. They just put a lipstick on it. So here we go. That's unfortunately the curse that we get here in these Caribbean islands, getting these corrupt leaders who only care about themselves, their families, and their own agendas. They don't care about the majority black population. You know, we have never had a government that really cared about the majority black population, right? You know, they lied to us in school about out of many one people or whatever, but that's just bullshit, and we all know it. But for some reason, we accept it, right? But a large part of Jamaica goes very much neglected. You know, I love this country. I love the values that it instilled in me, but I also hate the ignorance that a significant percentage of the population has, and they're blinded by, you know, politics and this and that. You know, I personally have never voted for either of these political parties, and I've only voted once in my life when I was in high school, or just about at the end of high school, right? So this is not about politics, because it doesn't matter which political party is in there. We have had bad roads all of our lives, and both political parties, you know, have sold out the country, sold everything. And if the people had benefited, you know, the majority black population whose ancestors died and their blood, sweat and tears built this country, if they were the ones who benefited, you know, then I probably wouldn't be as pissed off, right? And I see what's happening now with the youths. I see way more youths now from, you know, compared to when I was growing up, who are just, you know, just drinking and smoking and stuff like that, you know. I think to a certain extent, I feel like a lot of them don't really have a sense of direction. And then you have these singers now who mostly sing about scamming or violence or female anatomy or whatever, you know, put them on a beat, capture the youth's attention, and of course, yeah, how can I forget the skin bleaching? I don't know if it's as bad as it used to be, but I am seeing people with full body bleach, like they look like a whole different person, you know. So it's crazy. But yeah, so that is my rant for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I don't want you to think I'm bitter or anything, but whenever I think about these things, you know, I'm quite passionate about it. So when I think about it, you know, I may come across as being angry or whatever, but I'm not really angry. You know, I just keep living my life and keep living. And don't be caught up in these stupid politicians. Don't let them dress you in their oranges or their greens or whatever, because at the end of the day, they're all together. All their kids go to the same private schools. All their kids get the same road scholarships, right? All their kids live in the same gated communities, right? And they sell you a pipe dream, right? You know, I was here during COVID, and I saw where the majority of the population, the black population, you know, were locked down. You know, people were hiding, doing stuff, hiding, going into the hills to have parties. Even police, you know, I saw police officers and soldiers, you know, hiding and going to parties in the in the forest, right, or in the rural areas. And then the tourists come into the island and they had free reign, right? So now you understand who the colonial administration that we have over us, who they really represent. You know, they don't represent the majority population. So yeah, so that's what we have inherited here in Jamaica. Nothing has changed. They trick us with independence, but we are more dependent than ever. This is a rafters village here, by the way. This is where they bring tourists to raft, to go down the river. You know, they block off the river. You know, only they can access the riverhead and go raft down there. But of course, people still come on here and have their parties and stuff on this river. The river is right here on my left. So people come right here, chill on the river, have a bath and stuff. So there's trash. JTB, come clean up the trash. And yeah. Alright, thanks guys. That's my rant for today. Actually, I'll leave the camera for it to just to run so you guys can see the road here. This is from Rafters Village in Trelawny to, I'm heading into Falmouth actually. So this river right here, this river, hope you can see it right there. This river goes into the Caribbean Sea, right in Jamaica right here. The Martha Brae River. It actually starts in the cockpit country. Actually, I'm not too sure where in the cockpit country it starts, but I was speaking to a young man who actually lives in there a couple of days ago, and he told me that it starts from inside a cave, inside the cockpit country, like a spring head. Right? That river there never runs dry. When it's still and green and stuff, everything is good. When it gets brown, that means it's raining somewhere in the cockpit or something like that. Yeah. Person here is driving in the middle of the road. In Jamaica, in these narrow roads, you stay on your corner until you can see the road clearly in front of you. So you have some guys who fly on these narrow roads, especially these bikers. They have these young bikers nowadays. They fly. So this cart right here. This brings the rafts to the top of the starting point, I should say, not top of the river, but the starting point. And they sail down here, maybe like 2 miles, I guess, 1.5 miles. And they cut the exit right here.